EFL TV, proudly brought to you by Ferntree Gully Motor Group.
Good afternoon and welcome to the EFL Agenda for another week. I'm Braden, Ingram, and on the cusp of East Ringwood's 1000th game. We've come out here to East Ringwood Reserve. It's going to be a sensational afternoon, Saturday afternoon. Ray, we're really looking forward to it, aren't we?
Yeah, look, it's great to be out here at East Ringwood, and it's a big game for East Ringwood because they take on South Croydon, who are they're going all right at the moment, South Croydon, and East Ringwood, well, where do you think they're at, Braden?
Well, I mean, look, they've had that one win over Bourne, and it was great to see them get up. But other than that, they've struggled this season. They've had a couple of close losses. Went down to Montrose last week by 10 points. They are struggling at the moment. And it's such a big game this week as well. Founded in 1929, the club, 10 premierships, so much heritage around here. A great venue we're at as well, and they're really going to want to be up and about. And they're not going to want to have what happened to East Burwood a couple of weeks against North Ringwood in their 1000th game. Didn't go to plan. South Croydon are going along very nicely as well. So for me, I've got a feeling it could be a similar result as the East Burwood game. What do you think this weekend? Oh,
well, it's going to be hard for East Ringwood, but they're on the big stage, and they're a club that can step up on the big stage, but they have to beat a side above them. And as I said, on the big stage this week, look, they're a chance, but I think I'm going to go with the Doggies as well.
We certainly love to see them get up. And speaking of the Doggies, they're on a very nice stroll. Are they the real deal this year, Ray? Jason Eagle, he kicked 11 goals last week in that huge win over Knox. They're going along quite nicely.
Yeah, that was a great performance, 11 goals. But look, a lot of people are saying that they've had a very easy draw, South Croydon. But look, let's wait till after everyone's played around 9 or so games, and then we'll have a look and we'll see where they're really at.
Another club that you seem to think might be back, but I'm not so sure, has also had a very easy draw, I think, is Vermont. I'm not as hopeful about them as what maybe you are. Are you hopeful and they're back now for the year?
Well, they had a 40-point win over Noble Park. I mean, that's a great rivalry between those two clubs also. But Noble Park would have stepped up for that game. There's no doubt about that. But look, and Justin Van Unen, 2 weeks in a row, he's kicked 8 goals. I think he's got 29 for the season now. So look, if they can start firing down forward, and Lockie Johns has had a fantastic season so far. Look, yeah, I think that they could be on the way back, Vermont.
Starting to fire, and next couple of weeks is crucial across the league. 2 weeks before we go into the bye, make sure you get out to East Ringwood Reserve this weekend. It's the radio game, of course. East Ringwood in their 1000th game, taking on South Croydon. You can catch that on 98.1 FM. It's going to be a cracking game. We're really looking forward to it. Ray, Division 2 time now, and some interesting results coming out of there. I think we're going to start first of all with Mulgrave. They're certainly starting to beat the teams around them. They weren't really doing that last year. A good win over last year's Premier, 6 points over Moorabbin. They're starting to find a little bit of footing in Division 2. Yeah,
look, Ryan James has found it. He's got his boys sitting third on the ladder, and look, they're playing some great football. I believe that Mulgrave have the best back six in Division 2, and not only that, from Wayne Brass's stats last week, it said that they are the most efficient side score-wise when they move into that forward 50. So, look, things look pretty good for Mulgrave, and as you say, look, they're beating the teams around them, but they've got to beat a side above them, and there's their chance this week.
There's a real gap at the moment. There's Croydon at the top, and then there's the sides below them, and there's a real fight between those sides. You probably throw in there Moorabbin. They're really around that mark as well. I mean, we expected them to be up again this year, but they're just really struggling at the moment. Yeah,
look, I don't know what Paris Harvey's got wrong down there, but look, they're obviously not playing 100 minutes of football. I spoke to him on Saturday night, actually, and he said that, you can't play 10 or 15 minutes of football and expect to win games, because they were right in that game last week, but they got beaten at the end.
Their only 2 wins have come against Bayswater and the Waverley Blues. They really need to turn this around quickly. I mean, they made the grand final last year, and suddenly now they're just in the oblivion in Division 2 at the moment.
Yeah, look, in their defence, they did lose a lot of players out of that grand final side, but look, you've got to go with what you got, and they're a very proud club at Moorabbin, and look, let's hope they do bounce back.
Division 3 this weekend, Ray. A couple of close matchups we'd expect, and something we want to talk about to start with is the daylight Mitcham to the rest at the moment. They're really dominating, and an interesting start between first and second on the ladder.
Yeah, we looked at last week's game where Mitcham had a 37-point win over the second side, Boronia, and I looked at some stats there. Mitcham, their goal-kicking power is what's winning them the game. They average 16.6 goals a game. Boronia are only averaging 10.5 goals a game, but in reply also, Mitcham concede 9.1 to the opposition, whereas Boronia, because of the way Mark Hardy's style of play, we've spoken about that many times, they only concede 8.3. So, look, first and second, two completely different styles of games, and Mitcham, they're huge firepower, as I said, and Stephen Pym, their main goal kicker over last season, hasn't fired a shot this year, so if he comes good, that's just another goal, an avenue to goal.
I mean, it's not really surprising on Boronia's end. They've always played that way under Hardy. What does surprise me is how big the difference in goals between those two sides. It's not 3 or 4 goals, it's up above that 10-goal margin, and that when they come to play each other again, and they probably will meet towards finals, you would have thought, that could be too much to overcome. I mean, Mitcham didn't have too much trouble over the weekend getting it over the line.
No, look, I at this stage, I can't see anybody stopping Mitcham. They're undefeated at the moment, they're winning games easily, and they're just flying.
Well, 1 and 2 seem to be away from the rest of the pack at the moment, but between 3rd and 10th on the Division 3 ladder, there's only 2 games separating those sides. So certainly opportunities for even some of the lower sides down the ladder. And one of the sides that's in that mid-pack, the Basin, they take on Wanturna South out at Wanturna this weekend. That's going to be a really interesting game. If the Basin lose, Ray, they go 2 games outside the top 5, and that's going to be costly considering where their hopes and their aspirations. They can't afford to lose this, and if they do win, they're back in touch. If they don't, Wanturna South, Templestowe, South Belgrave, they skip away. Yeah,
and look, they've got Wanturna South at a pretty good time because Wanturna South, they're winning games, but they're not playing a great brand of football. Matty Clark's said that to me. Look, he's not happy with what's happening down there on the field. They're training their butts off. Everything's great off the field at training and all that. But when they come to perform on a Saturday, they're not the side that they were last season. A big chance for the Basin, Bryson.
Yeah, Wanturna South had the advantage last year when the two teams played each other. They certainly blew the Basin away in the end, so we'll see what happens this weekend in what's set to be probably one of the more interesting games in Division 3. Ray, this week you've absolutely begged me. You want to speak about the Eastern Lions. Their first 6 games, they've played 4 of the top sides, lost to them, but now they've got an easy draw coming up. You're a fan of how they're going to go in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, look, I believe, as you said, they've had a real hard draw. 4 of the top sides in the first 6 rounds. They've been defeated in all those, but they've beaten the other 2 sides below them, and now they play the sides that are below them, and I just think that they're getting it right off on the field at Eastern Lions, and I believe they're also getting it right off the field. So it's great to see the Eastern Lions up and running.
They're not in a bad position either. I think they're 6th on the ladder or thereabouts. So the next couple of weeks with those easier teams, they have a chance to catapult into that top 4 area, get the bye under their belt, and then reload again for the second half of the season.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. And they've been struggling. They've really struggled to put a reserve side on the field, on the park this week. But this year, I mean. Yeah, look, as I said, they've had a hard draw. I think they'll really be competitive for the second half of the season. And in the next few weeks, they play some of the bottom sides. So I think that they're going to be up and flying, the Eastern Lions.
A team that's not only been competitive but has really monstered their opposition, Park Orchards. We had a sensational radio game last weekend against Warrandyte. You were out there, Ray. Warrandyte threw absolutely everything at them. They played, as you said to me a little bit earlier, they played the man rather than the ball early, and Park Orchards just took it in their stride and really in the end took out. It was a hard-fought game. Yeah, look, Warrandyte came out in the first quarter and they were real physical on the young Park Orchard side, but gee, they stood up and kicked 9 goals to 3 in that first quarter. But the big thing that worries me about the Warrandyte Football Club is they were very undisciplined. They gave away 9 25-metre penalties, and you cannot do that in a game of football. And I would say that 4 or 5 of those resulted in goals to the opposition. But apart from that, the Park Orchard side, John Brown's got them playing a great style of football. They're very quick. They take some good marks. They kick the ball long on occasions, and their skills are very good as well. So they're a club that's on the up. I think just quickly on Warrandyte, the good thing about that is they only lost by about 20 points, and you can always work on taking out those undisciplined acts out of your game. So it's not as if they played bad football and they were, thrashed off the park. They can come back later in the season when they're going to be in there. I think they're just around the 5 now. They're going to be in there. They're going to cause some damage later in the year. So it's just a matter of fixing up a couple of those issues and they'll be back again.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that, because in that second quarter on Saturday, when they did stop being a little bit physical and played the ball a lot more, they actually pulled back a 6-goal deficit to be in front at half-time. But, they're going to play finals. There's no doubt about it, Warrandyte Football Club, but they just need to tend in that, that aggression a little bit.
And I'm joined here by East Ringwood stalwart Les Ferguson. Les, this weekend the two sides for the radio game, East Ringwood and South Croydon, are playing for the Shield. Give us a bit of detail on that one.
Braden, it's the Frank Glenn, an old-timer at East Ringwood, and the Phil Mason Shield. And, of course, Phil Mason played football with East Ringwood years ago and went to South Croydon and became a legend at South Croydon. But it's two great people that's been in the EFL for many, many years, and they've well rewarded for this shield from the East Ringwood and Heathmont Community Bendigo Bank. They supply the shield.
Certainly something both teams will be vying for on the weekend. And Les, 1,000 game this weekend, what does this club mean to the community?
Well, it means to us especially a lot. 1929 we started this football club and went for years, and we went to the Croydon Ferntree Gully Football League in 1952. Yep. And we won the premiership that year, and we won the premiership the next year in 53. We won a triple premiership, first, secondary and under 14s, I think it was those days. But the tradition of the community here at East Ringwood, it's magnificent. There's a lot of people still around that was around those days, and we look forward to them coming on Saturday, we hope.
And you look at it now, I mean, just a magnificent setup here. The ground's in stunning nick for the game. You've got immaculate facilities. I imagine there's going to be a huge crowd out here. And just quickly, who's going to win, do you think? Do you think East Ringwood might just nudge over the line, you reckon, Les?
Well, it's raining out there at present, Braden, and I hope it keeps up for the rest of the week. But, no, look, East have played quite well every game this year, but they haven't played 4 quarters or 3 quarters, and they've got to learn to do that under Dale. And he's right onto the ball about that. You've got to play 3 quarters at least to win a game of football. And, look, I think against Bull when they did it, faded out a little bit in the last quarter. East against Vermont, they played 3 quarters. It's just one of those things at present. They've just got to get 4 points on the board. But Saturday, don't be surprised if they don't win, because we do hold the shield at this stage.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it, Les. Don't forget, of course, you can catch the game on 98.1 FM, also streaming online at efl.org.au. All the team, BWS, he'll be out there leading the call. Certainly looking forward to it. Going to be a cracking 1,000th game for East Ringwood. We look forward to seeing you soon.